She thought it was the end until a human was holding her. The sky over the broken plane burned the color of dying embers. Smoke rolled low, heavy with the smell of melted stone and ruined machines. Mara lay on her side among the shattered frames of her people's last defense line, her breath shallow, her vision fading in and out. Every movement sent pain through her chest. Her translator crystal flickered weakly against her collarbone, its light dim and uneven dot around her. The battle was already over. The enemy had come from the dark between stars, silent and endless. Their ships had blotted out the sun. Their weapons had torn through shields that were meant to last centuries. Mara had been a signal runner, too small to fight, too slow to escape. She had carried messages until the air itself seemed to burn, until a shockwave had thrown her across the stone like a discarded tool. Now the world was quiet in the most terrifying way. Mara tried to push herself up. Her arm failed her. She tasted iron. The edges of her vision darkened, and she felt the creeping cold that her people knew too well. It was a sign that the body was giving up. So this is how it ends, she thought, not with ceremony, but alone in the dust. She closed her eyes, listening to the distant rumble of collapsing structures. She expected fear. Instead, there was only a tired sadness. She thought of the river valleys of her home, the soft lights at dusk, the voices that would never answer again. Footsteps crunched nearby. Mara's eyes snapped open. Fear surged through her, sharp and desperate. The enemy did not take prisoners. If they found her alive, they would finish the job without a word. The footsteps stopped close. Too close, a shadow fell over her, blocking the emberlit sky. Mara tried to move, to crawl, to do anything, but her body refused. She could only stare up at the figure standing above her. It was not one of the enemy. The being was tall, broader than any of her kind, wrapped in scorched armor marked with unfamiliar symbols. Its helmet was cracked, one lens shattered, revealing a single intense eye behind it. Steam hissed from damaged joints, and dried blood streaked across the metal. Dark and unmistakably real. A human. Mara had heard stories. Fragments passed through traders and distant signals. Humans were supposed to be loud, reckless, impossible to predict. Some said they were weak. Others said they were monsters. None of the stories had prepared her for the reality of one standing here, breathing hard, clearly injured, yet still moving. The human knelt beside her without hesitation. "Hey," he said, his voice rough but steady. "You're alive. Stay with me." Her translator crystal flared weakly, struggling to interpret the sounds. The meaning came through in broken pieces, but the tone was unmistakable. Concern, urgency. Mara tried to speak. Only a thin, broken sound escaped her throat. The human removed his helmet, revealing a face marked by dirt, sweat, and exhaustion. His hair was dark, matted to his forehead, his eyes sharp but tired. He looked younger than she expected, though there was something ancient in the way he moved, like someone who had seen too much too fast. "I've got you," he said, more to himself than to her. "You're not dying today." He slid an arm beneath her shoulders, careful despite the chaos around them. The contact was warm, solid, real. Mara froze, her instinct screaming that this should not be happening. No one survived this battlefield. No one stopped to help the fallen. Yet the human lifted her as if she weighed nothing. Pain flared through her body, and a weak cry escaped her. Immediately, his grip adjusted. "Gentler, sorry," he murmured. "I know it hurts. I'll be quick." Explosions echoed in the distance. The enemy was still out there, hunting for survivors, finishing what they had started. But the human moved anyway, stepping through smoke and fire with a stubborn refusal to slow down. Mara's vision blurred as she clung weakly to his armor. She could feel his heart pounding through the metal, fast and relentless. He was running toward danger, not away from it. "Why?" she managed to whisper, the translator finally catching up enough to shape the word. The human glanced down at her, surprised. Then he gave a short, humorless laugh. "Because that's what we do," he said. "And because you're here." They reached the remains of a transport craft half buried in debris. Its hull was torn open, but the interior still held pockets of shadow and relative safety. The human ducked inside, lowering Mara onto a makeshift bed of emergency packs and torn fabric. He immediately began working, hands moving with practiced efficiency. He sealed bleeding wounds, injected stabilizers, and wrapped fractures with materials torn from his own gear. Every action was precise, focused, as if the rest of the universe had narrowed to this single task. Mara watched him through half-lidded eyes, trying to understand. This human was wounded too. She could see the way he favored one leg, the way his breath caught when he moved too fast. Yet he ignored his own pain completely. "You should leave," she said weakly. "They will return." "I know," he replied. "That's why we don't have much time." The word felt strange on her tongue. The human met her gaze. "Name's Eli," he said. "And until you're safe, it's we." The transport shuddered as something heavy passed nearby. Both of them went silent. Eli reached for a weapon resting against the wall, holding it ready, his body placing itself instinctively between Mara and the open hull. Minutes stretched like hours. Mara's breathing slowed as the stabilizers took effect. The pain dulled to a distant ache. She became aware of smaller details. The sound of Eli's breath, the faint hum of damaged systems, the smell of scorched metal and something human she could not name. At last, the presence outside moved away. Eli exhaled slowly, lowering the weapon. He sagged against the wall for a moment, the weight of exhaustion finally catching up to him. Still, his eyes never left Mara. "You did good," he said quietly. "You're tough." Mara gave a weak, disbelieving sound that might have been a laugh. "My people are gone," she said. "There is no good." Eli's expression softened. He sat beside her, careful not to jostle her injuries. "I won't lie to you," he said. "Things are bad, really bad, but you're still here. That matters." She searched his face, looking for deception, for false comfort. She found none. Only a fierce, stubborn honesty. "Why fight for us?" she asked. "This was not your war." He looked away for a moment, jaw tightening. "Maybe not at first," he said. "But when someone sends a call for help, and you hear it, it becomes your war." Mara remembered the desperate signal her people had sent into the void, a final plea cast into the dark. She had never truly believed anyone would answer. Yet here he was. Hours later, when the sky had darkened and the fires had burned low, a human ship broke through the clouds. Its engines roared like thunder, scattering the enemy scouts that lingered too close. The vessel bore the marks of countless battles, its hull scarred and patched, but it moved with unmistakable purpose. Eli smiled when he heard it. Relief washed over his face, raw and unguarded. "Told you," he said. "Not the end." The human team moved fast, securing the area and loading survivors. Few as they were, when they reached Mara, they paused, eyes flicking between her and Eli. "She with you?" one of them asked. Eli didn't hesitate. Yet he said, "She's coming home." Mara was carried aboard, surrounded by unfamiliar voices and strange, efficient movements. Medical lights washed over her, and machines hummed softly as they worked to repair what the battlefield had broken before consciousness slipped away again. She felt a hand close around hers. "Strong, steady, you're safe," Eli said. "I've got you." When Mara woke, it was too quiet instead of destruction. Clean air, soft light, the steady rhythm of a functioning ship. Her body ached, but it no longer felt like it was falling apart. Eli sat nearby, asleep in a chair, his armor removed, bandages visible beneath a simple uniform. Without the armor, he looked smaller somehow, more human, vulnerable. For the first time since the invasion began, Mara felt something warm bloom in her chest that was not pain. Hope. She realized then that the stories about humans had all been incomplete. They spoke of strength and fury, of chaos and courage. None of them mentioned this. The simple, impossible act of staying when leaving would have been easier. She thought it was the end. Lying alone under a burning sky, she had been wrong. A human had been holding her. And in that moment, the universe had shifted just enough to let the future exist again.